I don't know how to go about this exactly. I'm also not sure how many people will see this or how many people will really care, but I still feel some sense of obligation to say this. Anyways, I'm taking a possibly permanent break from making AMVs. First, this is not a goodbye to content creation, as I don't think I'm ready to let go of my hobby of doing YouTube just yet. This is just the end of AMVs being the main type of content on this channel. I'm also leaving the door open to doing AMVs again, if somehow in the future my interest in them comes back. Now, with that out of the way, I want to talk about why I'm making this decision. Around my high school graduation a few months ago, I started losing interest in some of my more defining interests like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin again, and AMV making. Some other interests of mine I'm not sure got really affected are crochet, playing Magic the Gathering, and just doing some drawing. Why this happened, I'm still not completely sure. Regardless, since around the month of May or so, I slowly got less enjoyment out of making AMVs and it never recovered, even when making some of my more recent AMVs. It probably started around Honkai Star Rail's first anniversary, when an AMV I made for a collab got completely blocked on the platform. I started working on that AMV around the end of January when there were still AMVs circling around using the song I chose. After that failed endeavor, I pushed myself into working on an AMV for Multiverse Vistas, Honkai Star Rail's annual creator competition. Problem with that was I burnt myself out working on it. I pushed myself to do too much, pouring hours into this AMV, while juggling the wonderful end of school year stuff like AP testing, finals, graduation. You get the point. Why did I bother with this competition when I had other IRL obligations and responsibilities to deal with or enjoy? Long story short, last year's Multiverse Vistas, I had a bunch of technical issues, and I wanted to walk away from this year's competition with the satisfaction that I gave it my best shot. Maybe there's some element of revenge on the competition I would have gotten for myself, so that I guess I could say that Multiverse Vistas wasn't just a complete pile of failures and things out of my control. Even though I was really determined to put something out for Multiverse Vistas, if push came to shove or some circumstances lined up, I would have thrown away my chance at entering Multiverse Vistas for something, or should I say someone, else. I've been debating if I should mention this other thing in this video at all, but any story about my life around this time period would be missing a lot of context if I did not mention this thing, so here we are. This thing is rather personal though, so I'm going to leave it at if you know, you know, and if you don't ask anymore. Throughout a good chunk of this year, this thing has been responsible for some of my worst lulls of possible depression, and at the same time, some of the happiest memories I've ever made. Despite the emotional lows, I'd say that this thing is overwhelmingly a good thing in my life, and is more important to me than any presence I have on YouTube, or the internet in general, but just, yeah. Anyways, after finishing my entry for Multiverse Vistas, I edited an Aventurine AMV to try not to lose momentum on editing. It was hard to get through, even though it was focused on my favorite Honkai Star Rail character, and I was using a Has Been Hotel song when I was still on my phase of really enjoying Has Been Hotel after watching the entire season 1 in a day. Yeah. After that, I started work on the AMV for I Like It Loud, which I hate to say so bluntly, but was the last AMV I genuinely enjoyed working on throughout the entire editing process. I worked on it on and off for 2 months, with a couple collab projects in between that really did feel like a chore, but I do enjoy collabing with other people. I just didn't feel like editing. Around when the I Like It Loud AMV released, I started working on a couple more AMVs. A Star Rail AMV that bounced back and forth between focusing on Swivel and Firefly, an AMV for Notlin release, and another Honkai Star Rail AMV that I probably will never finish. Despite my hopes that these AMVs would rekindle my interest in AMV making, none of these succeeded, and I felt like a drag to get to the end of the 2 that I did end up finishing and uploading. This takes us to the present, a month or so after I uploaded my Notlin AMV. every interest I thought I'd lost a few months ago have come back, except for making AMVs. And I am enjoying the start of my time at college. I'm kind of hoping that this statement, video, whatever, is quickly rendered irrelevant because the collab I did for Genshin's anniversary somehow managed to reignite the passion I had for making AMVs. But at the same time, I know deep down that hope is in vain. Where does that leave this channel then? I'm not ready to give up YouTube completely, so that means I have to find a different type of content to transition to. I'm leaning towards a storytime / podcast type thing. No, I haven't forgotten about how I tried to start working on that exact concept 7 months ago. I just didn't have a good idea then of what to rant about. But I now have a better idea of what I can talk about, and I have bits of stories typed up, ready to record. In case you're wondering, I'm not steering the channel too far away from the category of gaming, as a lot of the stories I have prepared are somehow related to gaming. I think that's where I'll leave things for now. In short, AMVs are going to be phased out on my channel and replaced with storytime podcasts like videos. I understand that some of you might not watch my content anymore, and that there are definitely YouTube algorithm-related consequences to this decision, but I believe this is the correct one for me. Thank you all for listening, and I hope to tell stories you'll enjoy listening to in the future. This is May, signing off.